It's time for the thumb. Show us what we do.
Alright, you're going to make these stitches live. And the way you're going to do that, you're going to untie...
Is that another term, by the way?
Yes, when stitches are live, that means they're ready to be knit.
Okay.
You're going to untie your holding yarn. And you're just going to slip the stitches onto the needles, approximately evenly divided. The key thing to remember is to make sure this gap falls between two needles. Doesn't have to be precise. Pull out the yarn. And you're just going to keep moving them on. If they start to hide like this one is doing, another needle. If they start to hide like this one is doing, you can just use this scrap yarn to lift it back out again. There's our needle. Just periodically you're going to pull out the working yarn, the holding yarn here of the stitches you've already put onto the needles. I'm going to show you a trick on this one a little bit. You're going to like this.
Well, a lot of people like it. But there you go.
Yeah. This is...
And the holding yarn is about to go, right?
Yeah, we got 4 more stitches. These 4 over here.
Okay.
So.
Now, what is the purpose of holding yarn?
That just keeps the stitches ready to be knit, but not on needles temporarily. So you can go do something else, and then you can come back and knit. You could use a stitch holder, not for this because you couldn't try it on, but holding yarn takes the place of a stitch holder, and I'm just
dropping needles.
Dropping needles today, yes. This is the Dropping Needles podcast.
Maybe with a name like that, we'll be number 3. Never know.
Yes, our next show is Dropping Needles. By the way, I am planning, if anybody is interested, you can email me. I'll let you know when they're ready. I am planning to put up a series of yarn spinning videos, both spindle, mostly spindle, and wheel, and supported spindle for cotton. So drop me an email at ivy@ivyreisner.com or ivy@knittingstepbystep.com if you want to know when those are going to be up on YouTube. So once your final stitch is live, you just toss aside your scrap yarn. And now what you're going to do is you're going to take your yarn.
Get it into the camera range there.
Right. And you're going to knit these stitches. So just like joining a new yarn, you're going to kind of hold this with a little bit of tension between these 2 fingers. And you're just going to start knitting. You're going to start on the needle that comes right after this gap. So you've got your gap and then you've got this needle. And we're going to have to close that gap up in a second, otherwise it's going to be a hole and you're not going to want that. So we're just going to knit around. Just knit every stitch around. After about 3 or 4 stitches you can let go. It's going to be secure. And you just go. The one thing I like about mittens is how versatile they are. Once you learn how to do this, the basic shaping of the mitten, you could add a cable to the back, you could add color work, you could add anything you want to. It's a really good palette to start learning design.
Because you can have intricate patterns like diamonds or squares or things like that.
Right.
Triangles or something.
And the main part of the mitten doesn't have a lot of shaping. You're just going straight up a tube. Socks are good for the same reason. You're just basically going straight up a tube for the main part of it. Makes it very nice.
Now, when you started learning and when you first did mittens, was it hard for you? Was it easy for you?
I actually started backwards. I started on socks before I started on mittens, and mittens are the easy version of socks.
Okay.
So I had a pretty easy time with it. Once you get to this gap, you're going to want to pick up 2 stitches. So let me show you how to do that. We already talked a bit about picking up stitches, but you're going to dip into this fabric here, and let's try to make it as visible as possible. You're going to have stuff that looks kind of like knit stitches. You've got one here, you've got one here. Go into one of them. Okay. Pick it up on your needle. Okay, see what I've got here? Wrap the yarn as to knit, pull it through, and just leave it. You've picked up one stitch. Go into another one, wrap the yarn as to knit, and just pull it through. You've got another one. So you've just made 2 stitches that will close the gap. You're going to take your needle, and you're just going to knit across that first needle again. Now, it's important on this stitch here to pull very tightly. This is going to be a very tight stitch because you want it closed. You can take this starting yarn and give it a tug too if you want. You really want this one to be tight. And then just continue across the row. You continue around in this way until your thumb comes up to the base of your nail right there, and then you start your decrease rounds, same as we did for the fingers, and then you Kitchener close the top.